Hello. Tuesday, October 8th. Beautiful day here in St. Louis. It's low 70s. You know what I mean? It actually might be in the 60s right now, but it may be in the 70s. Let's see. Oh, yep, 71 degrees. Beautiful day here. I'm feeling pretty good. And man, I'm ready for this election to be over with. Everybody's ready for this election to be over with. We're almost there. We about a month out, a little under a month out. And if you haven't registered to vote, get that done. But y'all probably already have. I'm going to be sending my absentee ballot for New Jersey sometime in the next couple of weeks. And then we going to get things rolling. We got Annie Corporatist, Triple I, Pinkerbell. What's going on? How's everybody doing today? I'm doing pretty good. We got the Queen in the building, Queen Fritza. What's going on, lovely lady? But yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I'm going to be voting early. I encourage all of y'all to do the same if you can. Go ahead and get that done early. And the election is a little under a month away, and I'm ready to be done with it. Everybody's ready to be done. But as of now, Kamala's doing interviews all over the place. She was on 60 Minutes last night, The View today, some podcast called Call Her Daddy. Like, she's all over the place now, including, there's really no more legitimate criticisms of her not doing enough interviews or whatever. Like certain media outlets will be saying that, but she's everywhere now. But notably, Donald Trump was not at the 60 Minutes interview last night. And it was a regular ass interview. Nothing, she didn't say anything or do anything that anyone hasn't heard before. She talked about some of her policy stances, said her economic agenda would be paid for by raising taxes on the super wealthy and corporations, blah, 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 stuff like that. Nothing really new. Most notable, though, is Donald Trump was not there. And actually, before the interview started, 60 Minutes kind of roasted him. They kind of roasted him, and it was pretty funny. We got Annie in the building. Let's see where we at. And Libby. We got Libby. What's going on? And we got Lakeisha. How's everything doing? How's everything going today? But yeah, so yesterday before the interview actually got started, CNN kind of roasted him for not being there, and it was kind of funny. So let's check that out real quick, and then we'll get into some other things. Obviously, climate change. We've known that climate change is real and that the impacts and effects of it have been getting worse year by year. This year's hurricane season isn't even over, and already the devastation has been unbelievable. There's a Category 5 headed into Florida right now. So it's really just a major disaster. And obviously, we got to get a hold on our infrastructure and moving more towards clean energy and all of that stuff. So let's watch this clip real quick, and then we are going to get into everything else. There's a lot to talk about, but this was pretty funny. This was kind of funny right here, the way they roasted him.
It's been a tradition for more than half a century. It's been a tradition for more than half a century that the major party candidates for president sit down with 60 Minutes in October. In 1968, it was Richard Nixon and Hubert Humphrey. This year, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump accepted our invitation. But unfortunately, last week, Trump canceled. The Trump campaign had told us that the interview would be this past Thursday at Mar-a-Lago. They also asked us whether we would meet 78-year-old Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, where he was grazed in an assassination attempt. We agreed. On September 9th, Trump's communications director, Stephen Chung, sent a text that read, quote, "I'm working with our advance team to see logistically if Butler would work in addition to the sit-down." Sit-down meaning the interview in Florida. Days later, Chung called to say, quote, "The president said yes." Then, a week ago, Trump backed out. The campaign offered shifting explanations. First, it complained that we would fact-check the interview.
Think about how unbelievably ridiculous that is. I'm not going to do an interview because you're going to fact check me. What does that say? It says that you're just going to lie about everything. And on the 60 Minutes interview, they were asked, and he knew he was going to be asked some tough questions. Kamala was asked about her agenda and how she would pay for it. She mentioned raising taxes. They asked her about how if Trump's a racist, how do you kind of explain that with all the people in America? Tim Walz was asked about things that he said and misstated and gotten dates wrong with things. So, like, what I'm saying is, oh, and again, Kamala was asked more about her stance on like Israel and Gaza. She was asked about Netanyahu's defiance, given the fact that they've tried to get a ceasefire deal, but he continuously, not only does he reject ceasefire deals, but now he's bombing Lebanon. So, like, they were actually asked some questions that people wanted to hear the answer to, which is why Donald Trump didn't go on there. So again, the highlight really of the interview was that Trump wasn't there. It was kind of at this point just another interview with Kamala. Just like I said, she's all over the place now. Pretty much everybody knows what her stances are. She's a pretty a centrist Democrat, very normal politician in an era where normalcy it has kind of been thrown out of the window in a lot of ways. In terms of Israel, Gaza, America is pretty much always firmly behind Israel. So I think that'll be the biggest issue that the public really needs to stay on her for, because America's one of our biggest allies is Israel. So politically speaking, that's just going to be an issue that people got to keep alive. And Netanyahu has to be reined in, all types of stuff. But again, Trump didn't show up. He didn't even go. So you're going to fact check me. That, I mean, honestly, that's unacceptable. But millions of people want him to be president anyway.
Fact check every story. Later, Trump said he needed an apology for his interview in 2020. Trump claims correspondent Leslie Stahl said in that interview that Hunter Biden's controversial laptop came from Russia. She never said that. Trump has said his opponent doesn't do interviews because she can't handle them. He had previously declined another debate with Harris, so tonight may have been the largest audience for the candidates between now and Election Day.
And that is true, what he just said. Ultimately, the highlight of this campaign of Trump versus Kamala in terms of like public exposure was the debate, and she absolutely ate him alive at the debate. So what he just said is true. This would have been one of the biggest opportunities for more people to see you who aren't necessarily partisan. Um, there's been data that's come out that showed that Trump only has like 80% backing from Republicans versus Kamala with 93% backing from Democrats. So he really isn't able to grow his base at this point. He really is telegraphing to the world that he's going to try to steal the election. But nonetheless, Trump is shedding support where he really can't afford to shed it. So, I mean, again, like, and then he made some commentary. Let's see, I haven't read this yet. I wanted to read it first with you guys, but he made commentary about Kamala's interview with 60 Minutes, and again, regardless of what people think about her interview, she did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she showed up and did it, and Trump was like, "No, I'm not going to do it because you'll fact check me." Like, so this guy really is, and again, especially for people who are more progressive, there's plenty of areas of concern for Kamala Harris, especially and particularly, again, with America's kind of blind, endless support for Israel. That's going to be her biggest issue. Again, like I've said. But again, like, that versus a motherfucker who can't even show up, won't debate her again. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's really just like there's no way to make this shit look strong. All right, let's see. Let's go into this. What did he say? I didn't read this because I wanted to read it with y'all. Again, he talking about her 60 Minutes interview, but dude, you didn't even do it. You didn't even do it. You know what I mean? So, okay, what does he have to say? The interview on 60 Minutes with Comrade Kamala Harris is considered by many of those who reviewed it the worst interview they have ever seen. No, it was a very regular, normal ass interview. And again, now that Kamala's doing interviews all over the place, it doesn't really matter anymore. Like before she did her interview with CNN, like there was a lot of anxiety there because it was like, how's she going to perform? Is she going to blow it? But now that people are seeing her do interviews all over the place, there's not really that much to take from it. You know what I mean? Um, So it's just normal now. So no, the worst interview they've ever seen. And again, when Trump was interviewed by 60 Minutes last time, he stormed out because he was being asked real questions. And he's always like, "What I've done 7 times as many interviews as Kamala." They're all with Fox News. Like all of his interviews are with Fox News or people who aren't going to challenge him on anything whatsoever. So again, at this point, that narrative it doesn't mean anything anymore.
She literally had no idea what she was talking about, and it was an embarrassment to our country that a major party candidate would be so completely inept.
But you didn't even do it, bruh.
In addition, her incompetence on helping people through the devastation of Hurricane Helene is being reviewed as by far the worst in American history, even worse than Katrina.
Again, that's not true either. It's just not true. It's so untrue that Republican governors and Republican officials have come out and said, no, FEMA's doing everything that they can. We appreciate the help that they're giving. And mind you, a few days ago, we went over a list of all the Republicans who voted to not further fund FEMA. FEMA has about $8 billion right now until Congress comes back after the election, and they're taking this break. And before they left, Republicans are the ones who voted to not fund it. But nonetheless, again, keep in mind, like this really shouldn't be anything extraordinary. FEMA is a very basic function of government. That's a lot of what the federal government is supposed to do: provide assistance to states when they need it for natural disasters. So there's really not much to talk about here. You know what I mean? But Donald Trump, oh, it's so bad, it's so terrible that no one's anywhere. Yeah, like, it's just a bunch of bullshit.
I can't imagine anybody living in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, or Tennessee voting for her.
Well, okay, man.
Posters are saying that the anti or negative vote in those places, and even places not affected, but with people watching what took place, will be heavily against her. This is good news because November 5th is the most important day in the history of our country, and we cannot bear 4 more years of incompetence. Make America great again.
Again, it's like you say that, like he has no self-awareness and no shame, like none. You say this, like, bro, while you were in office, remember what happened with the pandemic? Oh no, none of that counts. Which again, I'll never understand how people try to give him a pass on that. Before the pandemic happened, he wiped the pandemic response team and the response services that we had ready. And then he spent almost the whole rest of the time he was in office pretending like COVID wasn't real and it wasn't a big deal, wasn't spreading. And then when he couldn't do that anymore, he just rubbed it off like it was nothing. Oh, and then also keep in mind with the wildfires in California, until his aide showed him that Orange County was behind Donald Trump, he didn't want to give them any money at all. So it's like, again, this dude has no shame whatsoever. None. Absolutely none. Motherfucker didn't even do the goddamn interview. And he's sitting here talking. It's just like this guy, man. Like this shit is so, oh my God. But yeah, I mean, I'm just if if at this point really all that matters is to get out the vote effort. Nothing else is particularly going to change that much. Trump, he'll bleed more support for sure, but all that really matters at this point is getting the vote out. That's really all that matters. Um, so we'll see what happens. But if Kamala can get the vote out, then she's gonna win. Like there's really not much more to analyze in regards to that. The Democratic base typically is bigger and more broad. Obviously, it usually comes down to the swing states in the electoral college. So if they can get the vote out, then they'll win. All right. Now, I'm sure that y'all have seen some of this, right? Because instead of because climate change in my lifetime, I remember when I was a little kid how much more it used to snow in Missouri than it does now. Hardly ever, really barely does that here anymore. Every year hurricane seasons get worse and worse, the wildfires get worse and worse, heat breaks records, weather patterns are chaotic all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And Republicans still to this day act like either it's not a big deal or it's some kind of a hoax. And instead of admitting and acknowledging that climate change is a real issue and a real threat and something that we have to address in order for our survival, you know, a lot of Republicans are going with the conspiracy that Democrats are manipulating the weather. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we saw Marjorie Taylor Greene. We saw her, and I got some more of that pulled up because she's doubling down on the Democrats control the weather, and that's what's really going on. Which is unbelievable too, because it's like if we could control the weather, I think that we probably would like do better things than this. Like I don't really see how it's beneficial to the empire for like the whole Gulf to just be in shambles. Like I don't really see how that helps the country or the nation. I would think that probably if we could control the weather, we would make it rain in places where it doesn't do it that often, where we would turn portions of deserts into farmland. We would do stuff like that. We would replenish fresh water supplies. That's the type of stuff we would do if we can control the weather, not shit like this. But you know, so we got her with this, and I'm gonna go over that in a sec. And this is Grant Cardone. Again, I grew up on the Gulf of Mexico, been watching storms since I was a young boy. I have never seen a storm start here and go east. Do you think government is using technology to manipulate weather patterns and storms? Like, what do you think? And then you'll have where they'll poll their own users, and Twitter polls really just, other than like just doing it for fun with your audience, they're not, there's nothing scientific about it. If you're just polling a very like your own base with stuff, then but still, like Grant Cardone is in his 60s. He's very wealthy. He's a con artist too. I mean, so we can't get past that. He's a total charlatan. But like, really, dude, like, do you think the government, like, bro, like, again, like I said, what are you really gonna do with these people? What are you gonna do with this? Like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. State Governor Ron DeSantis has expanded the state of emergency to 54 counties. All right, they're doing what they got to do because Florida's getting pumped, so he can't act like it's not real, and he isn't acting like it isn't real. But again, when it comes to climate change, you'd rather think that the government is manipulating weather than just being like, oh well, you know what? Maybe we're speeding things up with our use of fossil fuels, but they know that. All right, what is this? The U.S. government is prepping Hurricane Milton. Oh God, what does it say? It's going to bring us over to X. I'm going to read the whole thing here. The U.S. government is prepping Hurricane Milton. It has created a low pressure system spinning off the Gulf Coast of Florida, saturating the soil for several days. Hence, when this storm hits with its 10-foot storm surge, the floods with what? The 10-foot storm surge, the floods would be catastrophic. I guess he meant to say will be catastrophic with zero soil absorption. Frequency transmitters set up on the ground locations will guide this storm as the cabal did Hurricane Helene. U.S. corporation and these nefarious entities seeding these storms and using it as a weapon against we the people of the U.S. Republic. You will pay. And again, how does this make any sense? Like what why would a country do this to itself? I mean, sure, like if you're talking about fucking North Korea or something that's like way extreme, but unless you're way off into the extremities, why would a government do this to itself? That's completely antithetical to the interest of the state. The state's whole job, even the state that doesn't, that really aren't worth a damn so much. The whole job is to elevate the nation, to elevate the brand, to bring more money in. That's the whole point. Like, I don't like this shit is just insanity. What is this? Hakeem Jeffries should be the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. Enjoy your weekend campaign. Okay, this is the we can control the weather thing right here. Hold on, let me get over to this too. Where I got this with Marjorie Taylor Greene pulled up. Like what do you like? What the fuck is wrong with these people? Hold on, where is it? Here we go. Let me pull this up here. We got MTG quadrupling down on they can control the weather. Booker T, what's up, my brother? You said, hey, at some point, if she wants to have me on her program, I will definitely go on there at some point. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get in we gonna get into them circles one day at a time. We got Four Promise. What's going on, brother? How you doing? All right, let's see where we at now. Oh yeah, Libby, I saw that. I almost pulled it up, but I didn't for the stream today. And again, like how do you deny that all of this shit? And you sitting here talking about, yeah, it would be entertaining if I was on with Candace Owens because I would probably get mad, not like enraged and screaming, but like shut up, like that type of mad, or I don't know, either that or I just have fun with it. But yeah, that would definitely be entertaining. But it won't be long before we in them circles. Yes, indeed, because as the political world gets more and more whiff of Jackson White, yeah, we gonna, you know what I'm saying? We gonna get it in. But hold on, I forgot what I was just saying. But yeah, let's bring this up with Marjorie Taylor Greene right here. Yeah, again, you got this category 4 hurricane just wiped out a portion of the country, and now this category 5 is coming into Florida. And the mayor of Tampa was like, if y'all don't leave, you're gonna die. If it you know, Trump talking about more beachfront property. I mean, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Beachfront property. All right, so here we go. She says, where is it? Oh, a squishy. The 13 most popular squishmallows of all time. Well, we're in something different now, but this made me happy. I want a squishy. I want a squishy. But that's not what we're here to discuss. We got
Yes, they can control the weather. Here is Obama CIA Director John Brennan talking about it. Anyone who says they don't or makes fun of this is lying to you. By the way, the people know it and hate all of you who try to cover it up. And again, now keep in mind as well, part of it. I mean, it's not even just like part of Project 2025. Republicans just, part of what they do is dismantle the government's ability to function. So things like FEMA, they want to get rid of that, which is absolutely insane. They want to get rid of the Department of Education, which is absolutely insane. Like all of these entities, they just who needs it? Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, you name it. But then again, I ask you, like, if the Democrats, let's say that the Democrats are manipulating the weather. How does this help them? Like I don't really see how this really would give them a boost compared to the hurricanes not being as bad because now when you got all these towns wiped out, it'll be harder for people to vote. There's still going to be people who vote, obviously, and your messaging and your narratives are important in terms of how you deal with this stuff. But overall, this is going to cut into the amount of people who can vote, whether because their life is just a complete disaster now because they've lost absolutely everything, and then come November 5th, they won't be thinking about it, or they'll be doing other stuff. They're disenfranchised for whatever reason. So I just like these conspiracies are there's no merit to them at all. And this is the video she was talking about. And obviously, before we even watch it, that this has nothing to do with controlling the weather. This has to do with scientific theories and ideas and technologies on how we could do stuff like reflect some of the solar rays back out into space, stuff like that.
Another example is the array of technologies, often referred to collectively as geoengineering, that potentially could help reverse the warming effects of global climate change. One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI, a method of seeding the stratosphere with particles that can help reflect the sun's heat in much the same way that volcanic eruptions do. In SAI
See, again, like this is subtle technologies to help us deal with this.
They're like, oh, this technology allows them to make it a category 5.
Program could limit global temperature increases, reducing some risks associated with higher temperatures and providing the world economy additional time to transition from fossil fuels. This process is also relatively inexpensive. The National Research Council estimates that a fully deployed SAI program would cost about $10 billion yearly. As promising as it may be, moving forward on SAI would also raise a number of challenges for our government and for the international community. On the technical side, greenhouse gas emission reductions would still have to accompany SAI to address other climate change.
You know, I don't think that Marjorie Taylor Greene actually even listened to this clip. I really don't. I mean, maybe she did for 3 seconds, but how could you listen to this and then think that he's talking about controlling the weather? Nothing he said suggests that. And don't you think that it would be common knowledge if we had technology that could literally control the weather? First and foremost, I don't really know how the government would be able to keep that a secret from anybody. The government can't keep secrets worth a goddamn. Anytime anything happens, pretty much everybody knows about it if it's some type of real scandal. And this was the case even before we lived in the digital age. You know what I'm saying? Like people was there have always been whistleblowers, but something so fantastical as controlling the weather. Again, if we had that technology, we would be replenishing fresh water supplies. We would be turning deserts into lush forests and agriculturing farmlands. We would be doing stuff like that. Not destroying, like, what the fuck? Like, it's so damn stupid, man. We got Michael in the building. Oh yeah. I got me a beverage, but it isn't warm. And I already read some of Donald Trump today, so I got that out of the way early. You feel me? I might have some more Trump impressions I gotta read. I kind of forgot because I got a bunch of tabs pulled up, but we gonna find out. Exactly, Alonzo. Only Storm from X-Men can control the weather. But yeah, I don't really see how she could have listened to that. I don't think she did. And part of the American Republican way at this point is to be proudly wrong, you know. All right, let's see what's up here. We got again, bro, Donald Trump's. It's not that this is not that this is anything new, but the racism in Trump's campaign has devolved into just. I mean, like this is all it's about. It is about nothing else other than racism. Literally nothing. All right, let's see where we at. Right, exactly. Democrats control the weather. Meanwhile, good point, Pinkerbill. Exactly. Like, don't you think that we would do something about? Why wouldn't we enrich ourselves if we could do that? Kenny, what's going on? How you doing? Good to have you here. But yeah, man, like this shit, like, bro, like the racism is unbelievable. And we just gonna listen to the clip. We just gonna listen to it.
Just have to do it. She wants to go into government housing. She wants to go into government feeding. She wants to feed people. She wants to feed people.
She wants to feed people. She wants to feed people. It's such a terrible, terrible thing. And again, keep in mind, like Kamala Harris is she's a very normal politician, very, very standard. I give her full credit for being as successful as she has been and for getting to where she is. How can you not? How can you not give her credit for that? Now, when it comes to policy, you know, she gets in there, then that's where the real issue is going to be. Are you going to do X, Y, and Z? How are you going to handle X, Y, and Z? But in terms of just her general ability, there's no reason to question those things. What matters is what she does. But it's just, like out of all the things they could criticize her for, she's trying to feed people. But then again, like it doesn't matter what Republicans say because their candidate is Donald Trump. And he's he's incomparable to anything we've ever seen.
To go into government feeding. She wants to feed people. She wants to feed people governmentally. She wants to go into a communist party type system. When you look at the things that she proposes, they're so far off. She has no clue.
And then in the interview, I think it was yesterday, multiple times, she says that she's a capitalist. And it's not even like that's not even like controversial. Look, I don't really care what your political beliefs are. You live in America, you're a capitalist. Some ballot request stuff. I'm getting my ballot ready. I forgot look, we're all capitalists because we live in America. Like we don't have a choice. We have to make money. We got to pay money for everything. Like all of us are capitalists. Even if you would like to not be, you are. So, but again, she says that like I'm a capitalist. I'm here to help businesses and small businesses. That's a lot of the cornerstone of her campaign. is small businesses and entrepreneurship.
She's a communist.
How about allowing people to come through an open border, 13,000 of which were murderers? Many of them murdered far more than one person, and they're now happily living in the United States. You know, now a murderer, I believe this, it's in their genes, and we got a lot of bad genes in our country right now. They had 400.
This is like 1950s racism.
They got a lot of bad genes. I believe that, you know.
Well, Donald Trump, you got some bad genes too. You know, you got some really bad genes too. But you know, you're an idiot. You're incredibly narcissistic. You're childish. You're stupid. All right, what's up with this? Hold on, we got a bunch of stuff pulled up. We got a dozen states suing TikTok. Got this. Oh, we don't gotta go over that. Let's see. We got okay. Here we go. Here we go. Let's check this out. We got a GOP Senate candidate talking about basically women are crazy and women are tripping because y'all care about having control over your own bodies and shit like that. So y'all are loony. You know what I'm saying? It's the biggest issue to women because I guess because y'all some hoes. Women can't keep their legs shut, so that's why they care about this abortion stuff. Yes, Mara. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. It is 1940s racism. I was giving him a little bit too much credit. A little bit too much credit. We got to bring it back to the 40s. But no, it really is like it's bad genes. Let's talk about eugenics. But yeah, you know, this shit is hold on. Where we at? All right, here we go. New tape shows GOP Senate candidates slamming women as being indoctrinated into committing murder with abortions. Like, I get this. I mean, what a shame that we're even dealing with this at all. You know, this issue got solved in 1973. Like, why are we even dealing with this? And this is nothing but a losing issue for Republicans. And a lot of these people just don't get it. Like when JD Vance, when he was up on stage in his debate, he was like, we have to earn back America's trust on this issue. How are you going to do that? Like, how many Republican states? What is it, like 20 states where there's some type of legit, like, critical abortion ban, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, or something like that? Like, how many of these Republican states are pushing forth these insane policies? Like, what are you talking about? We got to earn back their trust.
Young people, listen, they've been indoctrinated for too long. Of course, young women between the ages of 19 and 30, abortion is their number one concern. That's all they want to talk about. They are single issue voters. And it's all about pro-choice. Pro-choice. Well, Republicans are pro-life. They want to take my rights away and lock me up and throw me in prison. And I said, well, are you familiar with what the Democrats' position is on abortion? It's called murder. Like, that is the position of the American Democrat Party.
And again, this just doesn't sell. One, it doesn't sell. Most importantly, because it's not true. Like it's just not true. The Democrats' position on abortion is murder. Right? Okay, man. But what a shame that we're even dealing with this at all. All right, now we got two newspapers, two of the largest. Annie, yes, I got it. Now I'll respond to you today. Donald James, what's up, brother? How you doing? How's it going? Good to have you here. Annie, thank you for being here. I hope that you're able to handle your business. And yeah, I will probably reply to you today. Thank you for reminding me. Man, these people are just amazing, and it's so tiring. But we can't give up because they ain't giving up. You know, these people are hell bent on taking away all of our rights and making life more difficult and just fucking shit up. And evil doesn't sleep. All right, we got the joint editorial board of North Carolina's two largest newspapers, the Charlotte Observer and the News and Observer, rebuked former President Donald Trump on Saturday over his false claims about the federal response to Hurricane Helene. Trump, the GOP presidential nominee, and a number of his Republican allies have been pushing unsubstantiated claims this week concerning the response of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris to Helene, which left at least 225 people dead and dealt massive damage to infrastructure when it ripped through the Southeast late last month. The former president falsely claimed that the Federal Emergency Management Agency was diverting disaster relief money to illegal immigrants. Again, like why would that happen? Why would that happen? We're not going to give money to and the whole thing. All they got is $750. That's not true either. That's the initial shit that they got, and then these people have access to so much other shit. Is it everything that they need? Not necessarily, but they have more. These people are getting more than just $750. That's just not true. It's just not true. The former president falsely claimed, and again, this isn't even controversial. Like, this is what FEMA does. This is the whole point of that organization. So it shouldn't be like, they're giving people things they need. They have bruh, FEMA has sent thousands of people to help. Like, so, and that again, that shouldn't be controversial. That shouldn't be it should be just standard normal news to people. But because this is America, it's not. Trump said during a rally in Michigan on Thursday that Harris, who has no direct control over FEMA or any other federal agencies, has spent all her FEMA money, billions of dollars, on housing for illegal migrants. Again, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And again, there's still $8 billion in it. We'll watch that in a second. Check that out in a second. But again, none of this shit, like, we shouldn't really even be talking about this, but we have to because of Donald Trump. In reality, some FEMA money has been spent to house migrants, but the funds are part of a program that is entirely separate and unrelated to the FEMA disaster fund. Trump also falsely claimed that Republican Governor Brian Kemp, and again, all these Republican governors have, again, this shouldn't be surprising, have said, "Oh yeah, the White House and FEMA have been just fine. We told them if we need more help, we'll get it. They've been helping. We're appreciative of it." Lindsey Graham was thanking Joe Biden, and again, it shouldn't that shouldn't be a big deal. It really shouldn't. In an op-ed published by the newspapers on Saturday titled "Shame on Donald Trump for Worsening North Carolina's Helene Tragedy with Political Lies." Oh, that is a long title. Shame on Donald Trump for worsening North Carolina's Helene tragedy with political lies. That's a very long title. The joint editorial board critiqued Trump's remarks for trying to benefit himself politically instead of bringing the community together. This is not a situation to capitalize on for political gain. But former President Donald Trump has politicized the situation at every turn, spreading falsehoods and conspiracies that fracture the community instead of bringing it together. According to the editorial board, quote, "The worst examples of this is a Truth Social post this week in which Trump claimed that the federal government and Democratic state officials were going out of their way to not help people in Republican areas." Again, almost everything Trump says is projection or confession. This is what he did. This is what he did with the wildfires in California. His aides had to be like, "Dude, you got supporters there." And until he learned that he did, he was like, "No, I'm not going to give them anything." So again, this is just more BS from Donald Trump, and the endless list of BS from Donald Trump. Where we at now? We got Maria Bartiromo, who gets corrected about FEMA. I'm catching up with y'all. Donald James, my brother, thank you so much. Thank you so much for 12 months of membership. It's been great to have you. You've contributed greatly. I always love having you here. I love talking with you. I love seeing you when I'm on TYT. I really genuinely, honestly, and truly appreciate all of your support and your belief in me. It really means a lot, and it's helping out. And I'm excited about the future. So thank you so much for all the contributions and everything that you do. Awesome. Awesome, Annie. I'm glad. I'm glad. Awesome. And I hope that you get the debate. There's no reason why you shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? But definitely, I'm excited about that. And I will reply to your email today, and we'll get you back on here and we'll have some good discussions. All right. Hold on, I'm catching up with y'all a little bit. All right, we caught up. We caught up. There we go. Now let's check this out. Maria Bartiromo getting corrected live. And again, like none of this, like, and mind you, Republicans want to get rid of FEMA. Do you understand how insane that is? These people are crazy. They're crazy. You can't work with this shit, man. All right, where are we at now? Let's check this out. Fox's Maria Bartiromo gets corrected on the spot by a House Republican after she pushes false claim that FEMA is out of money.
Militaries in the world.
Again, FEMA's out of money. It's not out of money, but even if it was, Republicans just voted against funding it more.
Which is Iran-backed terror groups.
You know, Congressman, I thought that the wide open border was the biggest failure of this administration. But I've got to tell you, this storyline around FEMA running out of money, wow. I mean, this is even bigger than the wide open border, 10 million illegals coming in on their watch. Florida is bracing for another hurricane right now as we speak. Hurricane Milton could become one of the most destructive hurricanes on record. And DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is warning that FEMA is out of money. A FEMA administrator doubled down on that yesterday. Watch this.
We don't have enough money to continue throughout the rest of the year. And we went into immediate needs funding earlier in the year to make sure we could do just what we've been doing through Helene, as well as now the preparation.
Hold on, Luke. Drop your email or drop an email in the chat, and I'll send you my logo. That sounds cool as hell. I'm gonna write it down. Go ahead and drop it in there, and I'll send it to you.
For Milton.
So, Congressman, I ask you, you are an elected official. You know where and how the money is spent. How is it possible that FEMA is out of money? Biden is urging Congress to come back, approve more funding for FEMA by the end of the year. Vice President Harris still under fire for promising.
And again, think about, this is very normal. This is so normal, and it shouldn't really be like, like praised, but it's very normal. Biden's like, hey, we have $8 billion, because that's what he's going to tell you. You got $8 billion left until the end of November when they come back. How about y'all come back so that we could get more money so that we could do more? Republicans are like, no. And then they turn around and act like, bro, like, these people are just
to send $157 million to Lebanon. Yeah, Lebanon. While residents of at least 6 states in America are struggling to recover from Hurricane Helene. Okay, you're watching pictures of them hanging from trees. They've lost everything because of these storm surges. How is FEMA out of money?
FEMA's not out of money, and this.
Bro, like, this is the biggest news network in the country, and they just fucking lie. They just lie endlessly. They lie so much they had to pay, what was it? What was it over the defamation? I don't remember the voting systems, but they had to pay them $700 and something million because all they do is lie. How are they out of money? This is a Republican. Like, they're not out of money. Like, bro, like the Republicans have no credibility. They have no conviction over anything other than just being racist pieces of shit who want to defund everything and deregulate everything. Like, they're just chaotic disasters. That's all they are.
This was made clear by the Inspector General report, saying that Mayorkas has access to nearly $8 billion of funding from the FEMA disaster relief funds accumulated since 2012. Plus, as I've said, and as Mike Johnson has said, Congress is ready to replenish that funding as soon as we get back to Washington. They have the money to take care of Florida, take care of North Carolina, take care of Georgia.
And again, none of this should be surprising. None of this. This is standard government function. This is what government is supposed to do. Exactly this is what government's supposed to do. So none of this should be surprising to anybody that, in fact, they're doing what they're supposed to do.
And they need to get about delivering it and listening to what their governors are asking and meeting those governors' requests.
But it's that money frozen for some reason?
This is where the Inspector General says no. Congress's staff says no, they have access to the funding. But Mayorkas has used this, I guess, for political purposes. But who are we to want to believe anybody in the Mayorkas administration? He's been impeached by Congress because he's incompetent. He's a terrible, misleading member of the president's cabinet and a disservice to the government. So I don't think anyone in Congress has any confidence in Mayorkas or what Mayorkas says.
But what about the money from FEMA used for illegal migrants?
We just read that. That was from a different sector. But even at that, that's just the racism there.
The money for migrants, which I don't support FEMA being used to back migrant flows whatsoever. We have the Border Patrol and we have the Health and Human Services Agency to do that. And that's where those migrant issues in the Rio Grande Valley, for example, are funded. This is not the right thing to do for FEMA. It's out of a completely different account, though. It's not connected to hurricane relief. But the point still stands. FEMA is not a migrant recovery agency. We want them on.
Well, at least he was, able to be like, no, FEMA has money, and when they come back, we'll refund it and stuff like that. But now they're getting into the migrant stuff. But again, like, this shit is so dumb, and it shows you too how desperate they are. It really does show the desperation, because again, if Kamala's base goes out and votes, Trump's going to lose. It's really that simple. It's not more complicated than that. It really is not. And because of this, right? Because of this, they're just flailing, and maybe this will work. Let's throw this against the wall. Maybe that'll work. Because again, if people show up to the polls, Trump's going to fucking lose. It's really not more complicated than that. And they're desperate and they're scrambling because Trump has no ability to appeal to anyone outside of his cult, and he's not even trying to. Pennsylvania High Court blocks RNC challenge on mail ballots. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court declined to take a case over a mail-in ballot lawsuit. Oh, and a lot of people have already voted too. In Pennsylvania as well. Like 76% of the early voting has been by registered Democrats, which is why they do shit like this. Okay, so this Pennsylvania Supreme Court shot it down, asserting it would be too close to the November election. As previously reported in the Daily Signal, the RNC sued the Office of Pennsylvania Secretary of State Al Schmidt for what it says are inconsistent standards for allowing voters to correct or cure ballots. Curing is a term used to describe a voter making a mistake on a mail ballot and making a correction. They find anything they can. Pennsylvania, with 19 electoral votes, is one because, again, how many people would actually do this? They're so... with 19 electoral votes is one of the 7 hotly contested battleground states. The Real Clear Politics polling average shows the state is a tie between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. In 2020, Joe Biden won the state by just 1%. And in 2016, Trump defeated Hillary Clinton by less than 1%. So again, at this point, it's all about getting out the vote. The states in which Donald Trump is not doing very well in terms of his ground game, which is that's probably going to be the main stake in all of it. Out of everything else, you got to get people to the polls. The state's high court also declined to hear a case brought by left-leaning organizations against the state requirement that mail ballots have the correct postmark date in order to be counted. This was on the same grounds, saying it was too close to the election. As described in the book, The Myth of Voter Suppression, the controversy in 2020 in Pennsylvania dealt largely with postmarks and the deadline for absentee ballots. Earlier this year, Schmidt announced that voters who don't follow instructions for completing and returning mail-in ballots may cast provisional ballots. The plaintiffs, the RNC and the Pennsylvania Republican Party, argued that voters who choose to vote by mail don't have the legal right to cure defects in those ballots. So everything gonna stay the way that it is. All right, let's check this out. We got some Supreme Court stuff. We got Stoned Assassin in the building. What's going on? All right, let's see. Supreme Court out of Texas. Supreme Court declines Biden's appeal in Texas emergency abortion case. A court order that says hospitals cannot federally be required to provide pregnancy terminations when they violate a Texas abortion ban will stay for now, the Supreme Court said Monday. The decision is another setback for opponents of Texas's abortion ban, which for 2 years has withstood multiple legal challenges, including from women who had serious pregnancy complications and have been turned away by doctors. It left Texas as the only state where the Biden administration is unable to enforce its interpretation of a federal law in an effort to ensure women still have access to emergency abortions with their health of life, when their health or life is at risk. The justices did not detail their reasoning for keeping in place a lower court order, and there were no publicly noted dissents. Texas had asked the justices to leave the order in place, while the Biden administration had asked the justices to throw it out. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton called the decision a major victory. Yes, we won. Women can keep on dying because of our laws. Yes, it's such a major victory. Yes. The Biden administration argues that a federal law called the Emergency Medical Treatment in Labor Act requires emergency rooms to provide abortions if a pregnant patient's life or health is at serious risk, which again, like that goalpost, like what does that really account for? What's the real definition of that? Even in states where the procedure is banned. All right, let's check this out. Abortion access in the U.S. So this is, hold on, post-Dobbs laws. Okay, current restrictions. Orange it's basically banned at all stages of pregnancy. Light purple, 6 to 8 weeks, purple, 12 weeks, and then you get into here and it's later in the more blue states. So we got Idaho, South Dakota, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and West Virginia. Bro, that's crazy. That is insane. That really is crazy. 50 years later, they just had to do this. They just had to do it. I mean, the fuck out of here, man. Ban restriction, ban not in effect, ban plus protection. But look at that, man. Look at that. That's really a shame. All right, TikTok is being sued. I think we it was I think it was Arkansas. We went over last week where they're suing YouTube. I think that's why it was YouTube in Arkansas. So let's check this out. What states are suing TikTok and why? More than a dozen states sue TikTok, alleging it harms kids and is designed to addict them. Well, it's definitely designed to keep you on it. More than a dozen states, led by California and New York, are suing TikTok for allegedly duping the public about the safety of the popular video app, claiming it was deliberately designed to keep young people hooked on the service. Of course it was. The lawsuits filed separately on Tuesday in 13 states and the District of Columbia argue TikTok has violated consumer protection laws and contributed to a teen mental health crisis. The bipartisan group of attorneys general is seeking to force TikTok to change product features that they argue are manipulative and harm teens. The suits are also asking courts to impose financial penalties on the company. And the latest headache for TikTok, which is trying to fend off a U.S. ban of the app slated to start on January 19th, unless the company severs ties with ByteDance, its China-based parent company. Used by half of America, TikTok will now be defending itself against a barrage of state lawsuits that tap into growing national unease with the design of social media platforms and questions over whether the overuse of social media contributes to mental health problems like depression and body issues. It absolutely contributes to it. And again, this is the process of how we can not just come to better terms with reality, but also to put like safety blocks in place for things like, like if the companies, these companies have to explain the dangers of overuse, they have to make it apparent that you shouldn't use it too much. They have to do things like put parental controls for age groups. And honestly, as long as you do that, then I think you're, and again, I'm no attorney, but it seems like you're pretty safe from real prosecution if you're following enough guidelines to be like, hey, at the end of the day, you're the one who's on it. You know what I'm saying? So, but this is the process of keeping companies like this in check. While pinpointing the exact role social media plays in worsening mental health issues is complicated, the state authorities claim TikTok is prioritizing the company's growth and profits over child safety. Of course they are. They're a corporation. But again, this is how you keep corporations in check. So this is necessary. TikTok intentionally targets children because they know kids do not yet have the defenses or capacity to create healthy boundaries around addictive content, said California Attorney General Bob Bonta in a statement. TikTok must be held accountable for the harms it created in taking away the time and childhoods of American children. And again, like it's not just TikTok. We do everything through our phones now. Last year, a coalition of states filed a similar lawsuit against Instagram and Facebook owner Meta, accusing the tech giant of failing to keep children safe. So yeah, we'll keep our eyes on this, but again, these are the types of lawsuits that help to keep stuff in check. Hold on, let's see. We don't need to do this. Oh God. Okay, we gotta. I forgot that we're talking about Elon Musk today, but we are. All right, let's see. Let me catch up here. All right, now. Yeah, and I already know y'all saw. Oh, it was so cringe. It was so embarrassing, and we're gonna watch it. Elon Musk jumping around on stage like, oh, like, oh God. Of course, the guy who's, I want to be neutral. Twitter is all about political neutrality. Yeah, go. Okay, good luck to that. What happened to that? But this, Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk can't stop giggling over since deleted Kamala Harris assassination joke. They're both such dorks. They're such dorks. They're so lame. And that's what's one of the funniest things about Elon Musk is he tried to sell himself like he's a real life Tony Stark or like he's a grown up Jimmy Neutron. But really, he's just a dork ass venture capitalist.
No, and I've been trashing Kamala nonstop.
Oh, I know.
Well, the Kamala puppet, I call her. The machine that the Kamala puppet represents.
Yeah, she's irrelevant. I mean, she's not even.
No. I made a joke which I realized I deleted, which is like nobody's even bothering to try to kill Kamala because it's pointless. What do you achieve? Nothing.
No, it's totally
just find
right.
another puppet.
Exactly. That's.
I'm the richest man in the world, but I'm a fucking dumbass. Everything. Like he's just. Oh, I hate him. I've always hated him. But again, first and foremost, it's not true that no one's tried to assassinate Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. The Secret Service and the FBI have stopped those attempts. They haven't actually been shot at, but they're and when you're in a position like that, there's always somebody in the country that wants to take your life. So that's just not true at all. But also, again, for him to say, my joke was there's no point in assassinating Kamala Harris or Joe Biden because you'd still have the machine. The machine. Oh, so the machine is not the Republican Party, which is objectively worse than the Democratic Party, especially you, someone who's supposed to be, all about dealing with climate change and, oh, look at me, I'm Elon Musk and my electric cars. But now you're fully behind Trump and Republicans who, don't even believe that climate change is. I mean, he's such a fucking jackass. He's such a fraud. The reason why people are trying to assassinate Trump is because he's a real change agent. No, you just want another goddamn tax cut. Like I cannot stand this man.
It's no point in killing.
Look at them like
find another puppet.
Exactly. That's.
It's no point in killing.
Deep and true, though.
Nobody's trying to kill Joe Biden.
It
would be pointless.
Totally. You actually put that up?
Yeah. Now, some people interpreted it as though I was calling for people to.
And again, it's like, bro, like he's so out of touch. Like he is. And again, we're gonna watch the video of his unbelievably terrible speech that he did, the dorkiest shit ever at the Trump rally. But it's like, bro, you're the CEO of like 7 companies, and you spend 80% of your time just tweeting shit out. Like you want so desperately to be like this really cool love celebrity, but you're just not. He's a fraud through and through. So it makes sense that he's on this right wing bullshit now. But I mean, this is just
to of course assassinate her. But I was like, no, even I was like, doesn't it seem strange that no one's even bothered to try?
like it's not, and again, it's not even funny anyway. It's just like I thought it was so hilarious, but I had to delete it because people didn't get the joke. It's so funny.
It's not worth it.
I mean,
there's an endless supply.
Yeah, like nobody would. It's absurd.
It could be anybody.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna try to. Nobody tries to assassinate a puppet.
Of course not. A marionette.
Yeah, marionette. It's just like. It's
hilarious.
What?
Oh my god! Oh, this is so cringe. Did y'all hear what he? Oh, we gonna listen to that again. It's like, bro, you're the wealthiest man on the planet, and you're so lame. And it's not even just that he's lame. He's not a good person. Like he's a Oh,
it's hilarious.
What? She's safe. Like, I like to try to kill Trump twice with actual guns and bullets.
Oh yeah.
Shot in the air right in fucking Butler where I was.
oh my god. Oh, Jesus Christ. I hadn't even watched that, but it was just, they're so lame. All right, now we gotta watch this. We gotta check this out. I mean, just yeah, right, exactly. The one thing he really, really wants, he can't have. He's in his 50s too, so it's like, bruh, like you have everything. Get the fuck over it.
His name is Elon Musk. He saved free speech. He created so many different great things. Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Just take over.
Like he really looks like a little ass boy.
Come here.
No,
send
so
American
awesome.
astronauts into space.
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah.
Take over, Elon. Just take over.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA. Well, first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here. And, the true test of someone's character is how they behave under fire. And we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot.
So awesome. I'm so inspired.
Fight, fight, fight!
Oh. Fight. Oh, it's so awesome. It's so alpha.
And another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight! Blood coming down the face. Now, America is the home of the brave. And
he's so brave. He's so brave the way he won't debate Kamala again. He's such an alpha male the way that he wouldn't do an interview with 60 Minutes because fact checking is, I mean, and then the other shit that he says in this is just unbelievable.
There's no truer test than courage under fire. So
Which she doesn't have.
Who do you want representing America?
Look, people, I want another tax cut. He also wants power. He wants political power. He wants to be in an administration. That's what he wants.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this election, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime. This is no ordinary election. The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech.
Democrats want to take away your freedom of speech, but I mean, bro, he has no shame, none. Again, you're the whole "I'm the future," clean energy, climate change, and fuck this guy, man. Like, fuck this dude. They want to take away your free speech. Really, really?
They want to take away your right to bear arms?
No, they don't.
They want to. They want to take away your right to vote effectively.
Wow. Again, they want to take away your right. No. Republicans want to take away your right to vote. Republicans want to do something about your freedom of speech. Donald Trump, who sues people when they tell jokes on him. Donald Trump, who literally tried to defraud the public. He tried to steal an election. That's not a small thing. I know we're, like kind of desensitized to all of it, but that is a historical fucking crime that he did. The guy who talks about going after his political opponents. Like, what are you talking about? This dude lost over 60 court cases trying to prove that he won the election when he didn't. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? This dude.
You got 14 states now that don't require voter ID. California, where I used to live, is just passed a law banning voter ID for voting. I still can't believe that's real.
California just passed a law that makes it easier for people to vote. But I hate this dude.
So how are you supposed to have a good, proper election if there's no ID? It's just meaningless. And free speech.
How are you supposed to have elections, even though we've been having elections for over 200 years in this country? How like, all of a sudden, we just don't know how to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been doing this for over 200 years, but all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait a minute. No, bro.
Free speech is the bedrock of democracy. And if people don't know what's going on, if they don't know the truth, how can you make an informed vote? You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment. President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution. He must win.
Donald Trump called for the Constitution to be terminated for himself so that he could stay in office. We have to vote for Donald Trump. Fuck this guy, man.
To preserve democracy in America.
Every company that he's a CEO, whoever the fucking is on the board, get rid of this guy, man. Because, 84% of Twitter revenue gone since he's been the head of it. And all he really cares about is this goofy ass shit now. Anybody who has the ability to get rid of him really should do it.
Yes.
Yes.
This is a must-win situation. Must win. So I have one ask for everyone in the audience, everyone who watches this video, everyone in the live stream. There's one request. It's very important. Register to vote. Okay? And get everyone you know and everyone you don't know, drag them to register to vote. There's only 2 days left to register to vote in Georgia and Arizona, 48 hours. Like, text people now. Now.
Yes, get registered to vote. We don't have to watch the rest of that because it's a little it's just a little cringy, just a little. But we're done with that. Oh no, first we have to look at this photo. We have to check out this photo. Exactly. 45 presidents, 59 elections. And all of a sudden, we don't know how to do this. You know, like it's all of a sudden a problem. All right, let's see where we at. Now we got to look at this picture. Before we move on to the next story, we have to look at this because, you know, while we're on Elon Musk again, I mean, like, oh, oh my God. Like, look at this. Look at his face. He's having so much fun. Like, yeah, I'm getting attention. Yeah. And Trump's like, ugh. Trump's looking at him like, the fuck? All right, where we at now? Eric Adams. My man's is in trouble. My man's Eric Adams is in trouble. And we got more people from his administration getting in trouble too. Former City Hall official arrested, accused of obstructing investigation into Mayor Eric Adams. Mohammed Bahi, who resigned Monday from his job in the Adams administration, was arrested Tuesday for allegedly obstructing the investigation into the mayor and his campaign. He is accused of witness tampering and destroying evidence and appeared briefly Tuesday afternoon before a federal magistrate and was released on a $250,000 bond. Bahi allegedly told Adams' campaign donors to lie to the FBI and deleted Signal from his phone as agents arrived to search his house, according to the criminal complaint. Oh, yeah, you call it. Yep, there you go. Clearly obstruction of justice right there. He served as senior liaison in the Adams administration's community affairs unit until his resignation Monday. Previously, he organized a 2020 fundraiser for the Adams mayoral campaign at the Brooklyn office of a construction company. 4 employees of the company made contributions in their own names, but those contributions were in fact funded by the company's chief executive officer, prosecutors said. Such straw contributions can violate federal law when a political campaign makes false statements about straw contributions to a public entity to fraudulently obtain public matching funds based on the contributions, or when the straw contributions are used to smuggle foreign money into a campaign. Adams has been charged with both. According to the complaint, Bahi met with the construction company executive and his employee donors instructed them to lie to the FBI. A month later in July, when the FBI showed up to Bahi's home with a search warrant, that's when he deleted Signal from his phone. And that's what he used to communicate with Adams. And again, like, just because you delete the stuff doesn't mean that it's gone, that the data's gone. The data's still there just because you delete it, you know, so. All right. He must also seek employment. So he can't go nowhere. He can't travel nowhere. And you got to get a job. You got to get a job. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. You got to get the hell up out of here. Yes, Dork MAGA is, yes, Mara, that's what we're calling him from now on. Dork MAGA is Elon Musk's new name. All right. Tampa mayor gives harsh warning to those refusing to dodge Hurricane Milton. You're going to die. In Category 5. Mayor Jane Castor of Tampa, Florida, dealt out a stern warning to residents living in evacuation areas who refuse to leave as Hurricane Milton's storm surge likely has the capacity to kill. Milton is classified as a Category 4 storm that could be upgraded to Category 5 at some point. Quote, I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you are going to die, Castor, a Democrat elected in 2019, said. The mayor noted she has, quote, never said that, but that the 10 to 12-foot storm surges could place Pinellas County to the south of Tampa underwater. A storm surge occurs due to rising water resulting from incoming hurricanes and other low pressure storm systems. Quote, this is something that I have never seen in my life. And I can tell you that anyone who was born and raised in the Tampa Bay area has never seen anything like this before. People need to get out. Yeah, pretty much everybody's saying that. I mean, I don't really care how partisan you are. You know, if get your ass out of there, however the fuck you need to, just get the fuck out. Okay, we don't need to. Oh, do we need to do this? No, we don't need to do this one. Do we need to do that? No, we don't need to do this one. All right, let's check out some updates from North Carolina. Booker, you said, what if North Carolina throws out votes? I don't know why they would throw out votes. In terms of they might throw out people's registration, but I don't know why they would just all of a sudden abruptly do that. It's everybody's responsibility to make sure that they're registered to vote. But in terms of the hurricanes, I think that the damage would be equal across the board. Like in terms of if it would impact turnout, it would impact Republican and Democratic turnout pretty equally. But I don't see why they would just be like, oh, it's a hurricane, so just throw the votes out. I don't see why that would happen. But in terms of the impact that the hurricanes will have, I think it impacts pretty much everybody equally. All right, where we at? North Carolina seeking ways to save voting access in wake of Hurricane Helene's destruction. State Board of Elections implements emergency measures for 13 affected counties. So again, like this type of stuff impacts pretty much everybody equally. But I think that most people, most people who vote Democrat or Republican vote pretty regularly, like in terms of the core base. So I think the majority of people who planned on voting are still going to do it. Of course, you're going to have some people who won't just because life is so hectic right now. But this is, this is beyond politics right here. This is just, impacting everybody, no matter what it is that you believe. Oh man, we got it. No, I'm not subscribing to this. My bad, y'all. I'm not paying for this today. But we'll read what we can before it goes blank. But basically, they're setting stuff up to additional drop-off, absentee ballots, drop-off stations, and different things that people can take advantage of so that they can still vote. Because obviously, all of this isn't going to be cleaned up in the next month. All of this shit ain't going to be cleaned up probably in the next year. So much has changed, and so much has been impacted by this. All right, let's check this out. Let's check out the 10 safest cities to live. But what's important in terms of in terms of voters, it's always important for everybody to make sure that they're registered, because a lot of the times, it happens pretty regularly. Like I've seen, like there'll be big stories about like, Texas just threw out 1 million people's voter registrations, which is legitimate. But a lot of the time, though, when people throw out the registrations, some of it's for legitimate reasons, like people who die. You know what I'm saying? They got to get removed from the voter registration rolls. People who move, stuff like that. Exactly. That's how it went. It was a conspiracy that way. You know what I mean? The ballots could just like be swept into the offices, or some shit like that. You feel me? Something like that. But yeah, climate change obviously is one of the biggest issues, but it will continue to be one of the biggest issues for sure. Because and then Republicans, meanwhile, well, climate change is a hoax. 10 safest cities to live in the United States. Let's see if any of these are surprising. Thousand Oaks, California. What's up? Why is this banner so big on this screen? Why? Oh, yeah, they got this way down here so that you can barely see anything. This should be up higher, but you know what? I didn't design the website. All right. Thousand Oaks, California. Where is that exactly? Thousand Oaks ranks very well when it comes to being safe. They have the lowest crime rate amongst cities that have a population over 100,000. Any of y'all in the chat know anything about Thousand Oaks? Okay, okay. Mike Boy said you used to work in Thousand Oaks. All right, now let's go to the next one. We got Nashua, New Hampshire. Because as of 2024, it had the second fewest assaults per capita. They was also in the top 10 when it came to home, community, and financial safety by multiple indexes. Hopkinton, Massachusetts. We got Hopkinton, Massachusetts. We got Columbia, Maryland. Probably a small college town type of deal. I don't know, but it probably so. Warwick, Rhode Island. Warwick, Rhode Island. Bergenfield, New Jersey. Oh, Bergenfield, really? Yeah, I know. I know all about Bergenfield. I used to live there. I've spent a lot, and in the same county. Bergenfield's pretty cool. Bergenfield's dope. We got Bergenfield. We got Denville Township, New Jersey. I'm not familiar with Denville. That must be Central or South Jersey. No, it's not, because here's Rockaway, and I know all these areas. Rockaway. I used to work in Rockaway and Dover. Yeah, so this is northern New Jersey up here. And most people in New Jersey live in North Jersey and South Jersey are very different. Johns Creek, Georgia.
Willie, Texas.
Is that the last one? No, we got Norton, Massachusetts in there too. So we got Norton, Massachusetts, Wiley, Texas, Johns Creek, Georgia, Denville Township, New Jersey, Bergenfield, New Jersey, Warwick, Rhode Island, Columbia, Maryland, Hopkinton, Massachusetts, Nashua, New Hampshire, and Thousand Oaks, Cali. All right, we got Planned Parenthood closing 3 of its Missouri clinics. And keep in mind, too, abortion is pretty much totally totally illegal in Missouri, but they have abortion protection on the ballot initiative. So I don't see why Missouri won't come out to protect that. Pretty much anywhere we see that that's on the ballot, people come out to vote to protect it. All right, now we got Planned Parenthood closing some of its locations in Missouri, expanding telehealth services. 3 Planned Parenthood clinics in eastern and southern Missouri will shut their doors next month, although the organization's leaders insist the moves will ultimately expand access to reproductive health care. As part of the consolidation effort, Planned Parenthood Great Rivers will be expanding telehealth services and hours at its remaining St. Louis clinics. The moves come as the state has successfully implemented legislation cutting Planned Parenthood clinics off from Medicaid funding. This is what Republicans do, man. Like, the Republican Party is unbelievable. Democratic Party got problems too, but I mean, it's not like these motherfuckers. Though the organization's leadership says the closures are not related to the new law, they are also taking place as Missourians are set to vote on whether to enshrine abortion rights in the state constitution, a decision that could radically expand access to reproductive health care around the state. I'm pretty sure that they're going to vote to enshrine abortion rights. I would be incredibly surprised if Missouri didn't vote to protect that. Because again, you got to keep in mind that for the most part, these abortion bans are being pushed by politicians. Pretty much nobody really. I mean, when you look at the grand scheme of things, not many people want this shit. You know, like Republicans are against this because it's insane. On November 1st, the Florissant Health Center in North St. Louis County and the South Grand Health Center just south of downtown St. Louis will close. I know where both of those are. On January 1st, the health center in Joplin will also close. No staff members are being laid off as part of the restructuring. He said, okay, so Richard Muniz, he said the goal is to increase virtual care access. The operational changes we're announcing will ensure that we're here for our patients, not just today, tomorrow, but for the next 90 years. For Joplin patients, transportation will be provided to the Springfield Clinic 75 miles away for those who need it. Planned Parent, oh, that's good. The transportation will be provided. Planned Parenthood will also refer patients to the Pittsburgh, Kansas clinic about 30 miles away that opened earlier this year. Muniz said the decision on which clinics to close was data driven. All right, we'll keep our eyes on all of that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And now, let's see. Are we going to do this one? Will we close with this one? Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Oh, we got Casey back in the building. What's up, Casey? My man's could not stay away. You came just in time, too. We finished it. We're done with the stream, Casey. You came a little bit too late. As far as I know, Mike Boy, I'm pretty sure that federally you can still, or you have that they can't stop you from getting the pills, like mifepristone federally. I think so. Nah, Book. I didn't see him saying that she would win by witchcraft. But hey, you know, if it's witchcraft or just people showing up to the polls, I'll take either one. I'll take either one. You know what I'm saying? Either one is fine with me. All right, y'all. We done for the day. I had something else pulled up, but I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that for another time. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they still have that federally. States can't interfere with that. And if it's not exactly that, it's something along those lines. But thank y'all for joining me today. Tomorrow I'm going to be on Indisputable, so I won't be streaming. I'll stream later on Thursday and Friday. But man, I'm ready to get this election over with. Not just because, God, it's time to get this shit done. Queen Kiki, thank you so much. Thank you for the information. But also, I'm ready to I'm ready to talk about other shit, man. I'm really ready to talk about other stuff. And I got some cool stuff coming after the election. It just makes sense to start it after the election when all this is past us. So thank y'all for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for upgrading your memberships. Thank you for just rocking with me. And y'all have a good one.